Hey, sports fans! Coach Nick here, and welcome to the post-game live show at B-Ball Breakdown. I was expecting Jared Weiss to be here, and I don't know what happened to him. He's not around, so maybe he will pop in here at some point. But as of now, you've got me and me alone, and I don't even know. Let's just get into it because I want to get through some of the comments and see what you guys thought about it. I can react to that. But certainly, it's been a long time since we've seen a Warriors team who can't score very easily. We know that in Game 3, without Clay out there, it really hindered their offense. And I thought we saw how valuable he was in this game because he really just gave them another score, another way to put the ball in the basket, and he did well. Let's see. Klay Thompson was 11 for 18, 6 for 10 from 3. I don't know if he scored in the fourth quarter, though, and it just seemed like it fell apart. The biggest problem I think the Warriors have to fear, though, is that their defense cannot get stops. The Raptors look like the Warriors, basically. Terrific ball movement, fantastic pick and roll action there, and the Warriors defense just can't seem to contain it well enough. The roll man to the basket just killed them. You know, they would rotate and they would be there late. Ibaka dunking, short roll, I think, to Gasol and hitting shots. Fred VanVleet is just a tough MRFer, I'm telling you. He came just to come back from that and get back on the floor after getting stitches and I guess no concussion. Was that his tooth, by the way? I'm assuming it was his tooth and no one else's that they knocked out on the floor. But even before that, Van Vliet's line, actually, it was only 3 for 9. It seemed like he was even better than that, to show you. But he was a plus 12, second on the team behind Danny Green plus 13 and Kawhi Leonard plus 13. And we just simply can't ignore Kawhi Leonard. I don't even think he looks like he's moving. I think he looks like he's moving fine. The guy that looked like he was moving injured was Steph Curry. To me, he looked a little bit exhausted from the beginning. I don't know if it's residual, like is he still sick or whatever is going on there. But it's a real problem with they can't seem to get Steph Curry going. His line was 9 for 22, 2 for 9 from 3, 7 for 8 from the free throw line for 27 points, 6 assists. But he just doesn't have the same energy. I don't know what it is or what's going on there. Maybe somebody can tell me in the chat if they've heard anything else. But those are the two guys. Draymond finally got technical foul for carrying on the refs, and certainly deserved that one and more. The team just sort of fell apart. We haven't seen this before. Certainly in this 5-year run, really just sort of the Warriors, just falling apart. They just couldn't keep it together. Steph Curry helps one pass away on Kawhi off of Danny Green in the corner, and you can see what's his face? Sorry, Klay Thompson just get upset with him. You never see that either. So just a lot of head scratching stuff. And I think it's the defense. If I was going to focus on a video for tomorrow, I think I was going to break down the pick and roll out top by the Raptors. Now, that said, it wasn't all just straight pick and roll, don't do anything else. They ran some action into it, and that got the defense moving side to side, and then opened up the lanes for them, and Lowry was making great decisions on that. So that's a real key that I think the modern NBA has mastered, is that we need some sort of motion and movement into the pick and roll. That's what gets you the easy shots. Oh, wow, we already have some super chats. Thank you so much. Mirzit Kadrich, my X Factor tonight. I mean, it was funny because I want to say it was Fred VanVleet, but he didn't do that well. So let me just go here to the box score real quick, because obviously, I think it had to be Ibaka. His short rolling was terrific. He hit a 3, that was wide open, but he nailed it at a very opportune time. So he was just really sort of the guy unstoppable down there, and he had 2 blocks, and he's just a force down there, and he will make people concerned as far as like when you're around the basket. That's the guy you have to be concerned about. So without question, then it was he was due. He really hadn't had very many good games. So Serge Ibaka for sure. We have another super chat here. Let's give another shout out to Xavier Smith. Thank you. What is making the Raps role players so effective compared to Golden State Warriors coaching? They want it more. That is a fantastic question, because certainly, the role players like Ibaka tonight, Van Vliet in the past. Who else did well? That was probably about it as far as impact. Ibaka and Van Vliet. He really only played 9 guys. You can't even count McCaw. I would say, he played 8. So, you know, when you run your offense and you get multiple passes and movement, that's going to benefit your role players, right? Because Kawhi can get his shot and he can score anytime he likes. Same with Clay, or same with Curry mostly, and then certainly Durant. So when you run your offense, it's for the role players, and without question, the Raptors' offense is working so much better. The Warriors haven't been able to increase pressure. They haven't been able to deny passes and disrupt that rhythm they've got there. So even when they're cutting it to 10 or 9 and it kind of looked kind of close, it wasn't. It never really felt that way because the Raptors could just make a 4-pass possession, get an open shot. And even when they were missing in the first half a bit, they were just open shots. I tweeted that out before they were making them. I said they really do a great job of creating open threes. And again, so maybe that's the video. The video will be the pick and roll out top and how they use the short roll, and then also how they just generated open threes. And I can go back and show a lot of the same kind of open threes they just missed earlier in these games. It's a make or miss league, so you know that's par for the course. But they're making them now. And you know what? Jared looks like he wants to join me. The problem is you have to see if he's going to set it up or have to do anything here. Let me see if I press this button here, and let's see if he's going to zorch back into it right. No, I got to add him. So bear with me. I'll try and talk, and maybe I'll even put my headphones on for him and find out why he was not with me when the game ended. But let's do this. Okay, hang on. Can you guys bear with me for a second? Forgive me for live. Let's do this here. All right, I got to resize him. All right, sometimes it's resized and it works beautifully, but other times it's not. There is this. And let me turn him down a little bit here. All right, are you ready? Jared, can we hear you? I hope so. Jared, can you hear us? Oh, well. Well, to add to the SHIT show, he guess he can't hear us or we can't hear him. So I'll let him sit up there. We can all see him. I know you can hear me. Let's go to some questions, shall we? Let's see here. Big Skelly, Rip Warriors legacy. Yeah, I mean, listen, the Warriors could come back and reload and be right back there. But yeah, this is kind of a shocking thing. Let's see here. Avery Rosenkrantz, what up? And I don't know, is Gigolo Puff here to moderate? We'll find out. Let's see here. What's another thing we can read here? End of an era. Yeah, I mean, it kind of could be, right? Klay Thompson and Steph Curry are not getting any younger either. I mean, not that they're not, they're kind of getting the tail end of their prime. And if KD leaves, which it looks like he will, yeah, they're gonna. It might be, you know, they're definitely they're vulnerable. Gigolo Pup is there, awesome. And then of course this chat just jumped and I lost where he was, but let me go back where I was. Okay, off to a great start, Jared. We can't hear you. I wonder if you can hear it. Jigglypuff, thank you for the tweet. The tweet ended up being pretty. Every once in a while, I nail one on Twitter. Certainly, no one wants to acknowledge when I get them right. They just want to tear me down when I'm wrong. But hey, Twitter is a cesspool, right? We have another super chat here. Wow, thank you guys. This is really. I was blown away last time by how many we had, and again, let's keep this going. Trebles, Golden State Warriors finals loss aftermath. Yeah, I mean that's sort of why we're here. We're here to talk about the aftermath. Again. This is going to be something we've seen them down 3-1, right, against OKC and against somebody else. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Maybe I got to press something else for Jared. What else did I press last time? I can't remember to make it work. Do you remember? I'm going to disconnect you, Jared. Let's try it again. All right, let's see. Did that work? Jared, can you hear me? No, I do not hear you. Huh. Well. Sometimes if we're going live, I try and throw you in there. Oh, boy. Let's do that. It doesn't work. What was the other button? There's no other button for me to press now. So, I don't know. Anyway. Well, Jared, I don't know. Let me try disconnecting one more time. And we can go... sorry, guys. Live TV here. I'm going to try, let's see, if I do start session, let me get Jared a new link and see if that'll help him really quickly, and then I'll be done. Okay, Here's a new link, Jared. Try that one. Okay, let's get back to the chats here. What if Durant didn't play in Game 5? I don't know. I don't think he is. For some reason, I have no inside information. I know they were trying to get him into some sort of a live scrimmage or something like that to get him going, but I don't know, man. I don't think it just doesn't feel like he's going to play. So I don't know. And there's Jared again. I don't hear you, so I'm assuming that you don't hear me. So it's Wirecast is not behaving tonight. But I don't see anything unless it's something on your end. But Jared, I don't hear you. At least I could see you. But I don't know. There's no other button for me to press. Nope, nothing. Jared, are you there? No. Okay, well, oh well. Every once in a while, Wirecast doesn't work. So I guess I'm going to go the solo. Let's get back to it because I don't want to waste any more of anybody's time. Let's see here. Moses Alexander surged with 20 points. Absolutely. If they get 20 points from him, and then let's look at the rest of the balance, and then 36 from Kawhi, and then, oh yeah, Siakam was terrific too. He, again, he just sort of gets in there, gets close to the rim, gets shots. He had a nice mid-range too when they left him open, just sort of filling in when they needed him to. Yeah, if you get 19 from Siakam, 36 from Leonard, and then 20 from Ibaka off the bench, that's kind of tough to overcome for the Warriors as is. But gritty performance from Klay. He looked okay, not explosive, but his shot looked good, and he certainly looked good scoring, and does change the whole tempo of the offense, and that makes him look better. But there just were too long of stretches where they just simply could not get going. And we don't want to take away the credit from the defense. It definitely made it difficult for them. Let's see here. Let's go over to the Periscope for a second and see what's going on over there with the comments. Let's see here. I got one. Rob 878. Hey coach, been out drinking here in the UK. Please tell me what happened. Same as game 3 again. No, I mean the referees. It was weird on Twitter. People were complaining about the referees when I felt like they were letting them play. So I didn't really have as much trouble with a lot of the calls. Certainly that kicked ball they called on Siakam was terrible. Remember, a kicked ball, it has to be intentional. You have to actually kick it. And he just threw it off his foot. So that should have been, I don't even know, actually, I don't even know what happened with the ball after that, but that should have just been a play on. So other than that, though, so the referees were, not nearly, I don't think, as bad as it was before. But that's a problem with, so that won't be the same problem as game 3. But just the Warriors, the Warriors could not stop the pick and roll. That was really what did it for them all night long. Toronto didn't have any pick and roll until later in the game. Okay, that's from Big Leonard Zane. I think that they were running in the first half. I know I saw some there. Let's see. Oh, hey, Brady, if you're out there. Joey 186, Toronto is hangry. They are going to win. And they're correct. They're right. After so many times, it just sometimes you cannot find that desire. It's not always there. We got some more super chats. Wow, awesome. Thank you. Armando Pena. Thank you so much for that. Double dates. Why Warriors keep double pick and roll instead of just switching? I agree. They were blasting it, as if the short roller wasn't going to do anything. And man, were they prepared for that. So that's a big adjustment they're going to have to make. It was almost like they were, it was, I don't want to call it fake hustle, but it was almost like hustle just to do it. They weren't as organized. They needed to really to do that. Let's see. Eric Lee, another big super chat. Thank you. What makes the Raptors D so effective? Length, strategy. Love the boxing one on the timeout. Right, we did catch it. I think on one possession they did it, and again it worked really great. They got nothing out of it. Maybe they did it for 2 possessions. And then love your work, Coach. From South Korea. Thank you, Eric. So yeah, I think he sent some won over in the super chat. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So what is doing it? What is well, here's the thing. The rotations by the Raptors are really good, and they are switching well to try and maintain contain all the screens they're setting. So, but certainly when you have Kawhi and you have Siakam, that's a lot of length already. Gasol is smart positionally, and that gives him a lot of length. And then when Ibaka comes in, he can block shots and alter shots. So that's another thing. So that's really good. Then Danny Green is solid. I don't think he's been as good defensively as he was in the past at the Spurs, but he's solid. And then Lowry takes charges, and you got to be concerned about that. So they really do have they have a defensive presence that's really disrupting a lot of things. But that said, I also feel like there's just something missing from the Warriors. They just aren't bringing it. They aren't as organized as they've been in the past. And I just, it could just be that your time runs out at certain times. Just some minced garlic. Thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate that. Great name, by the way. Everyone should love a little minced garlic when they're cooking. Let's see here. Back over to the YouTube chat. Ibaka MVP off the bench. Kawhi took it over in the fourth, 2 threes at the start, back-to-back, set the tone. Yeah, absolutely. But they were open. That was the thing. The Warriors just simply couldn't contain and then get back out to shooters as well as they had. And that was Wakas Ahmed who said that. So DB Buster also wants to know if KD is going to play. I mean, I think he's going to give it a go, right? Even if he doesn't quite feel it, he's going to, he's going to get out there. He's going to be out there for shoot around. He's going to, try and get going at some point. But I just don't know how effective he's going to be anyway. So I bet you he's going to give it a go, and they might just shut it down if it's no good. Let's see. Jesus Jr. Milan. Hey, Coach Nick, shout out to Love You Retro Breakdowns. Oh, yeah, I got to do some more retro breakdowns. Stay tuned for that. Is Ibaka going to start Game 5 on Monday? No. Nick Nurse will change nothing. He better not change anything. Do exactly what they're doing. It's working really well. Let's see here. Let's go over to the Periscope and see what we had over there. Where's that tab? Yeah, there's a lot of people complaining about Fred VanVleet mugging Steph off the ball. I got to see that. I've seen it. What I've seen so far seems relatively standard, and I want to see if there's anything more to it than that. And that is the risk that the Warriors run when they get Steph off the ball rather than running pick and rolls where he is protected because he has the ball, and the referees would have to call that kind of contact. So I would suspect the adjustment they're going to have to make is just get him more into the pick and roll, attacking that way, getting downhill. I thought he did really well when they did that. He was kind of getting in the lane and kind of darting in there. But there was that one call he went, and it was 50-50, but there certainly was enough contact that you'd think at home, and it was Steph, he would merit that call. I think he got 7 free throws, which is fine, but I bet you there was 2 or 4 out there he probably should have gotten. Is Steve Kerr being outcoached by Nick Nurse? It's a little bit tough, Typo, because of the injuries. It's sort of throwing everything in disarray. Looney, they threw him out there, and he was admirable, but he clearly is broken out there. And Clay is also, he's going at 70% maybe. So that's a little bit difficult on that end. But certainly if you want to look at the way they're defending the pick and roll and blasting every time they're not adjusting it, that could be a coaching thing you can criticize for sure. And then, Steve Kerr just needs to find the better lineups that are going to work together. That's the alchemy you have to do in-game sometimes. And, it's not always clear how to make that work. And everything that Nick Nurse is doing, it seems to be working. Throw Ibaka out there. Boom, he does really well. Throw VanVleet out there the last game. He shoots really well. So everything is working. Brandon L. Molina, hey coach, what are your opinions on Boogie in the lineup? So it was interesting. Boogie was so great in game 2, and he was awful in game 4. And I don't know if anyone would have predicted he would be that bad, but he couldn't elevate, and they just easily disrupting his shots. They couldn't get the cutting that they should have been getting, like with him went out there in the low post. So really just troubling. Let's see. We have some more super chats. Thank you so much. We got from Canada, Kevin Yu. Canada deserves this ring. Thanks for the BD, coach. What is BD? Thanks for the breakdown, I guess. Thanks for the breakdown, coach. It's funny. By the way, do the Raptors go to the White House if they win, or do they go visit Trudeau? I think, right? They must go to just Trudeau. They're not. I don't know why they want to go to the White House, frankly. But certainly, I was thinking of that. I guess Trudeau's going to host them. They're going to have a thing there. Is that what they do in Canada? Is that what the hockey people do? But you know what? It's a great story, and I'm really happy for them. I was thinking about this as far as Nick Nurse and versus the coach from last year, who won the Coach of the Year, and his name is Dwayne Casey. Thank you. And it's like, well, did Nick Nurse do so many different things and make Dwayne Casey look bad? All that stuff. It's like, well, aside from what Nick Nurse did, they added Kawhi Leonard, they added Danny Green. They added Marc Gasol. Like that's significant in my mind. Even though they lost DeRozan, you want to compare DeRozan and Kawhi Leonard, it's not even close, especially in the playoffs. So, so Nick Nurse kind of arrived at a time when it was advantageous for him, but he's doing a great job. Armando Payne is back. Can we talk about Steve Kerr being outcoached? Well, I just kind of mentioned that. Yeah. It's a double-edged sword. I'm not quite willing to go completely overboard here, like I've been on Dwayne Casey, for instance. But he's got to come up with a couple better lineups to go to. And he's got to adjust their pick and roll defense without question. Those are 2 things that he could help and he could fix. Let's see, Buckin FL at 55. Surprised Nurse outcoached Kerr so far. Everyone wants to talk about that. I thought Nurse did a really well to outcoach Budenholzer in the last round. It took him a couple games, but even then, remember, I saw that in game one. I saw inklings of like, you know what, the Raptors could win the series, even after they went down 2-0. And when he did, and when they finally got to get some of that stuff taken care of, yeah, he really was doing great. So I don't think I should be that surprised per se, but let's see what happens in Game 5. It's in Toronto. That's what they wanted. That's why they've been playing the whole regular season. So it just doesn't feel good at all for the Warriors at all. Brazil 66, thank you so much. Wow, big super chat. Any comparison to draw between the 2019 Raps and the 2017 Western Conference Finals first half Spurs? Wow. Obviously a small sample size, but Kawhi has proven capable in both instances. I see what you mean. Right, because they were hammering. Well, I would say so. I mean, certainly what Kawhi is doing is exactly what he was doing in 2017 before he got hurt, before he hurt his ankle with the Zaza thing. So, you know what? Is that a good video? Maybe I should do a video about that, kind of comparing it, because it's a small sample size, like you say, but there are some interesting things there, and certainly the way Kawhi is really just dominating, right? There's no other way to say it. He's dominating. Free throw line, scoring. He's probably shooting. I didn't check the stats recently, but I need to look. I think he's shooting almost elite from 3-point range too. And his ability to draw fouls is really what's I think hurting them the most. How many free throws did he have tonight? Kawhi Leonard had 9 more free throws, 9 for 9. Now they went 23 for 24 from the line, and the Warriors went uncharacteristically. They went 14 for 21. Not that it would have completely mattered, but 17 for 21. Yeah, it gives them something. And then they shot under 30% from three. But not a lot of their threes that looked even that great. That was the other problem. So, I think I hear something. Are you there? Yeah, now I hear you. We have Jared. Oh, okay. Okay, well, I got to put Jared back in the cat. All right, what do you say? Do we want Jared out there? All right, he's now working, and he's from his phone. So I got to add him again. Let's see, add. Let's see here. Now I got to resize him. All righty, and then I think your sound is probably pretty good as it is. You're not too loud. Okay.
The cheap wired version is, but
right.
You can hear me.
You are live. Welcome, everybody. Give a welcome and maybe one of these kind of claps like we used to do for Jared. All right.
I am so happy to be here. Thank God.
That's one of those claps that's not a clap. You know what I mean? Nonetheless, that's the you effed up clap from Wisconsin when the other team had a problem. Another super. No, I thought I saw another super chat. Oh, no, never mind. All right, so Jared, what are your thoughts so far? Throw it in there. Happy to have you. What's going on? What do you think about? Maybe you're listening to what I was saying, but give me some thoughts.
No, you've been carrying the water. I've been panicking and crying while listening to what you're saying.
So is everybody listening.
I don't think the narrative that Steve Kerr is getting out coached is technically fair. He's missing a guy that seems to be important, but the pick and roll defense doesn't make sense still, and I think where we are in the series, which I still can't believe is happening, really comes down to that. It comes down to why are they blitzing on these? Why are they trying to trap over the screen level essentially on Lowry? It's like you want him to dribble in and take that shot. They should be icing, I think, most of the time on these screens especially because I understand them doing it when they have two bigs out there and they think, well, we can rotate a center into the lane and that that helps. But Steph Curry is the one that's picking up the roll man half the time here. And when Ibaka had that huge roll in with a couple minutes left, I think it was Curry that picked him up. That was the third or fourth time that happened, and that's how the game got blown open.
And they gave him an and one, and Curry kind of just touched him on the mid body, and it was not even worth a foul.
Soft.
Yeah, it was and obviously didn't bother Ibaka at all. But you're right. It was a real problem. I think that they were very undisciplined in their defensive stuff too. And how do you explain it? They've been so good and so on point all season long. Even that, it was always good, even if they had some malaise in other areas. So crazy.
Yeah, and one thing that Nurse has been really good with is that he's been really good at Draymond really dominated defensively in the first half, and Nurse has done a really good job of figuring out where is Draymond going to be roaming and trying to take him out of the play. And it seems like in the second half, their high pick and roll has been really good about taking Draymond really out of the play. Although I guess Draymond is kind of taking himself out of the play because on most of these plays that we're talking about, he's the one that's showing high over the like up at the screen level, and he's trying to trap ball, but like he's really the only one there to trap ball. They're not like whoever's
Right.
defending ball isn't really getting close enough to make it a real trap that's effective.
Right. And that, by the way, that's the key is because when you let him be a quarterback and play weak side and roam, the way to change that is to make whoever he's guarding screen the ball. Now you got him involved in that part of it, and he's not as effective as he would normally be. That said, I'm a little bit surprised. You'd think that he'd get some hands on some balls and deflect some stuff, and he just, he couldn't do it. And Lowry
He got close a couple times.
Yeah, right. He's kicking and whatever, but Lowry is good. Lowry can slide those passes in there, and he's got a good enough shot where you got to be wary of that as well. So, group text from AP had a good thing where they Raps put Siakam in the dunker spot instead of the three. It felt crucial. Yeah, I got to look at that. My mind's eye, I can picture that a little bit.
I got a few things on this actually. It's exactly where I wanted to go next. So.
Great.
There was, I think, around 2 minutes left where they ran a pick and roll. Siakam kind of flared out from the dunker spot area to like a 15-foot baseline jumper, found him. Golden State just stared at the shot, didn't even really try to catch up to him. And then with probably, I guess, like 40 seconds left or so, what Siakam did is something that is so important that I wish everybody would talk about more often is off-ball movement. Is not just about curling over a screen or whatever. It's about what Siakam did that, I mean, they kind of already won the game, but this literally basically won them the NBA Finals with this play. He was hiding in the dunker spot, and I can't remember who the player was that was trying to track him. Instead of just hiding in the dunker spot, he basically pretended like he was playing cricket, and he just kept running back and forth across the lane over and over and over again. And when you're hiding on the weak side as a spot-up guy, don't just stand there. Constantly be moving back and forth in like a little, whatever you like, your little section of the court there. And the fact that you're always going to be a little bit further from where the guy last saw you when your defender is trying to look back and forth from where the ball is to where you're supposed to be. Just by doing that, you're creating more confusion and you're dramatically increasing the likelihood you're going to be open. And sure enough, he did that zigzag enough times that the defender didn't really know where he was anymore. And eventually when they got dribble penetration and could kick it down to him, the defender had no idea where he was, and he finished with a wide open layup. Yeah. And that's the energy that Siakam has on the last play of I don't know how many minutes he played tonight, but it felt like he was out there forever. I mean, that energy level that he has it's his greatest skill.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's another reason why Nick Nurse is winning this battle here. And I don't know what they're going to do I mean, we know they do to combat that. You already described how they should ice it or just switch that pick and roll and take your chances with a Looney. I guess Boogie would be tougher, but if Boogie has to switch on like Lowry, for instance. But I think they would take that. They would probably take a semi-contested three over Boogie versus short rolling in the lane and collapsing everything. It's crazy. Let's see. Crusty Yard, do you think that Kawhi would benefit from raising the arc of his jumper? The jumper goes in, but it certainly is it's a laser to the rim. But he gets up high. It's a really high release. So I'm thinking it's fine. I mean, for him, I wouldn't teach anybody else to shoot that way. The whole thing. But certainly, what do you think, Jared? Do you think he should add some more arc?
So obviously he should, as far as like it's better to have higher arc, but I think there's a couple things to say is that one, guys with a higher release point tend to have a flatter shot. So even if the arc of the shot may look flat, there's a huge difference between someone who releases his release point is basically the same as like a 7-footer. So it's a lot different to have a flat shot at that release point level than like if you're a guard. But with shooting, it's always about feel, consistency, energy transfer. If he has a really flat shot, but he releases it somewhere where nobody can really defend it, and his aim, his power judgment is great at that trajectory, then I would make very, as Chip England told me, who he wouldn't talk about his own guys, but when I talked to him for that story I had on The Athletic, it's like you can always, no matter how great you are, you can always make a change here or there to try to continue to get better and better, because you don't shoot 100%. You shoot a percentage that you're happy to a compromise that you're happy with. But Kawhi is statistically one of the best shooters of his generation, if not of all time, right? So he
Yeah.
he shouldn't mess around too much.
Right.
It seems like what Kawhi's doing tends to work for him pretty well.
Yeah, and again, all right, like a little bit more could help a little bit, and the way he shoots it, and the way they've eliminated as much motion as possible is not the philosophy I would adopt anywhere else. But they've gotten it to work, and credit to him and all the hard work he's done with Chip and with Clint Watts, whatever his last name is, who's a trainer who trains.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, and he changed his Twitter handle. All of a sudden, I'm following some other random thing, and it was his. I don't know what they did. But anyway, let's see here. Jesus Jr. Milan wants me to do a Rick Barry versus Roger Brown 1972 ABA Finals breakdown. Wow. All right.
Seems like the moment to talk about this.
Yeah, right. I don't know if I can find that, but hey, let's see here. Uriel Alfaro thanking us for the nice comments. And Jigglypuff is out there again. You're the man. Thank you so much. Alex Googlehead wants to know if I think that Curry's shot is weird, like it's buffering or maybe having a hitch. I saw that on Twitter too. I wouldn't say it's a hitch, but I think at least once or twice he sort of hesitated before shooting it, and that was strange. And yeah, Curry to me just looks off. He looks like maybe, I don't know if he's still sick. He didn't have nearly the same kind of energy we normally would see him have. And they're never going to say, I guess, if he's sick or not. Well, I guess I did before, but I just feel like he just doesn't look like the same guy that we're used to seeing. Does he look that way to you?
No, and that was an issue earlier in the series, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, hey, last game he was pretty decent, right? So
right.
I never know. Maybe the whole thing about how Steph is inconsistent in the finals is just true.
Yes,
maybe that's it.
Yeah, Ben Foster says that Nick Nurse is very Canadian looking, and he could be a member of the Bare Naked Ladies. Well, maybe he'll start singing "If I Had a NBA Title." I don't know, it doesn't quite fit,
yeah.
But he'll get $1 million off of that. So.
Yeah, we should note the power of the goatee. Nick Nurse, Serge Ibaka, severe goatee power tonight.
Okay,
there's something going on there.
Well, so closely cropped. So you're not talking about any of the beard stuff.
Yeah, like really like pencil level, I would say. Right. I mean, Clay has it. It's been working for Clay for a long time, though.
Yeah, I have it sometimes. Maybe I'll have to go back to that. You look like you're going for it right now.
Me, I always have this kind of like thin level beard, basically.
Okay.
It creates the false appearance. Yeah. I use a buzzer with like a number 1 head on it, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a new sponsor coming up, Manscaped. Manscaped, is that what it's called?
Oh, really?
Have you seen the commercials for them? They're hilarious.
I don't think so. I thought you were going to say Goatees was your new sponsor.
No, but Manscaped. And especially if you want to trim, other places in your body too. So I cannot wait to do a video insert for that one. That should be pretty fun. So hey, we'll give them a free shout out. Let's talk about Wix while we're at it too, and anybody else. BetOnline.ag for all your BetOnline needs.
Yeah, we don't break down pubes on the show nearly enough, so it's good that we got that out of the way.
Yeah, I'm glad that. Okay, hey, listen, you went there. Let's see here. We got some love from Rob over in the UK, and they love the cricket reference. I don't even know if you knew that's where he was from, but hey.
It was the large extent of my knowledge, pretty much. Yeah.
All right, put some shrimp on the bar. Oh, that's wrong. Warriors is proving to be too. The Warriors are proving to be too top heavy. I agree. I mean, when you get down to McKinney, they didn't play Bell. I would have thought maybe they'd throw Bell out there, give him a run at the end of the third or something to see if he could spark something. They did not do that. I don't know. I guess they were riding with Looney.
I think Kerr realized he probably shouldn't have let Bell out of the doghouse. I mean, you could say that they're too top heavy. They got 4 elite players there. It's like the top is so heavy that it still should be enough weight, even if one of those guys goes down. Right now, I think their biggest issue is that their defense has just been really bad in the second half for like 3 straight games, and that I wouldn't put that on KD being out. I mean, KD being out would have been huge for them, just like not having any lulls in the offense, and obviously their defense would be way better because he's a great defender. But and also he's the guy that instead of Steph rotating into the pivot on these pick and rolls, it would be probably KD most of the time. You have a 7-foot shot blocker,
right?
So like it's a huge loss. What are we talking about? Talking about one of the best players in the game, but I'm there is no issue with the way that the Warriors are constructed. They made the proper sacrifices. They're frankly, I think their deep bench guys have been doing a decent job. I mean,
Yeah.
McKinney is in a way bigger role than he's supposed to be, and he's doing what he does. And I don't think he's playing like trash. I think he's basically just doing the limited amount that he can do, and he just unfortunately is in a position that he's overqualified for right now. And all of their bigs are hurt. Like all their 3 7-footers that they use are all hurt.
Well, Bogut's not hurt, is he?
Yeah, well, I'm considering him the 4th 7-footer who they don't use. But
I see. KD is the one. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so their depth of 7-footers is remarkable, which is the only reason why they still have one out there.
All right.
But DeMarcus was hurt, and he's still right now he's effective every once in a while. I can't believe Looney played.
Right.
What they've been going through is the reason why I was saying, and I'm sure you were saying too at the beginning of the year, that all these teams need to try. They can't just punt on the season. Maybe I kind of get it last year. This year, there were so many reasons not to punt on the season, and look at where we are now. It's remarkable.
Okay, Billy Zane Fanical. We got another super chat. Thank you so much.
Great name.
Now, Billy Zane, if you don't know, is the bad guy in Titanic. He also went to my rival high school in Chicago. His mom is a big casting director, but he's got talent. He deserves.
Wow, that explains a lot.
But yeah, he's definitely probably got some roles. He was also a bad guy. He's always the bad guy. What else was he in that was bad?
He was inconsequential in Zoolander.
Yes. Oh, no, he's not that. Who's the bad guy in the new version of Jumanji? I didn't see the Blade, but Jumanji. Who's the bad guy?
I don't think anyone watched.
Is that him? I think he's. Wait, no, it's not. It's the other guy. It's the guy from Ant-Man. Oh God, Bobby Cannavale. Anyway, so the Warriors finally get that karma back, is what he says. And I think what he's saying is karma is coming back to them, like as if they had rubbed it in people's faces, and now it's coming back to them, and now they're getting it. Or maybe just the fact that they had been surprisingly uninjured for all this time, and they were bound to hit them back. So either way, I mean, listen, they play the right way. I hate to think that karma is punishing them in any way, but versus just sort of time. But interesting point.
Yeah, or maybe he means that their Reddit account finally got unfrozen. But I think it's actually a pretty good point. I mean, I don't really agree with it necessarily, but the Warriors have been doing this whole the regular season doesn't matter. We know who we are. We're the best team in the world. All that kind of stuff. Yeah. I think Dre, Steph, and KD have really played into that. Apologies to Steph if I'm wrong about that, but I feel like I've seen him do that a few times. But Steph generally has been pretty good about maintaining, being humble, stuff like that. Right. But for sure, Dre and KD have really played into it. Dre has basically said the regular season doesn't matter, and to his credit, he played garbage in the regular season, and then has been at borderline MVP level for most of the playoffs, right. Which maybe is a little bit biased on my part, but this is. I don't think. Well, I'm wrong. I was about to say I don't think they're not taking this seriously, but look at that. Look at their defense for the last 2 games. They are maybe it's not taking it seriously part, but they're not playing with a sense of urgency, with the with that being willing to fight that extra inch aggression that Toronto's playing with, and Toronto has really kind of taken on the identity of Kawhi, where Kawhi refuses to acknowledge that emotions are a thing, and just is he's the board man. After the game tonight, he said I don't do this for the fans, I do this for hoop, which is a paraphrase of what he was saying. It's not even a slight towards the fans. He's just saying my programming is to maximize basketball effectiveness. Right. And I'm sure everybody saw the clip of, was it Danny Green or whomever it was? Everybody was getting dapped.
Norm
and
Powell.
He just stares, which, for the record, there is no explanation that makes that okay or normal, and it's not even it's not even a good thing. It's just dap up your guy right there. What the hell? But it's so funny, and it's so Kawhi, And it's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's all that.
He started to point like, "Hey, no, we got to go. We got to get on the floor. I can't be even giving you a fist bump." Let's see. Let's go to some comments here. Henry Lloyd thinks I look like Tom Hanks. Okay, I've morphed into a lot of different people over the years, so hey, I'll take a big movie star. That's pretty cool. You know what I used to get when I was young was Billy from Melrose Place, but that might be too old of a reference for any of you guys out there. But do you even know what Melrose Place was?
I know it's a thing.
Okay. It used to be a thing where like people would go to bars to watch it. I think it was the same night as another show, and who's out there that remembers? It was Melrose Place and like another one just like it. Maybe it's Beverly Hills 90210. Maybe. Am I crazy? I never watched any of those shows, but people would go to bars to watch that before like DVRs existed. Let's see here. Lowry was the MVP of the game, Scotty Hong. Interesting. Kawhi is literally the Warriors' kryptonite. Is Kawhi doing that much on defense that's sort of dismantling what they're doing? Do you feel that it's him?
No, not really. I think they're playing pretty good team defense. I think Steph's just a little bit off. Steph is missing a lot of open threes.
I gotta look at those threes.
He shot 2 for 9 from 3 tonight. Steph's shot is off.
Good question from LH, by the way, really quickly. How much credit can we give Nick Nurse? And then, could Casey be here if he had Kawhi and then Danny Green, this team? I don't know. What do you think?
That's a great question.
Yeah, isn't
it? I don't think so, just because I think that it's not necessarily that Nurse is like a better coach than Casey. And don't forget, last year when Casey was the coach, Nurse was the offensive coordinator,
right,
and they were trying to implement his offensive principles. I think it's the freshness of the message. I think it's just having a new regime put in place, and they also did tweak the staff too. And a coach is never just the head coach; it's also his staff as well. And so, I think that having that fresh start with the coaching staff, in addition to putting Kawhi out there, is a really important part. But you know what? Kawhi's a really similar offensive style to DeMar. Like they move on the court in a very similar way. Their spots on the court that they like to shoot from are very similar. There's a lot of similarities. So what he's doing, it's not like they've reinvented the way that they run the offense through. It's still really similar.
Okay, that's a good point too. Although, Kawhi can stretch it better. We had some more super chats. Thank you so much. Varun Rispud says, do Warriors need a new defensive coach next year? Well, did Ron Adams get poached by – someone was telling me that Luke Walton got somebody off of their staff. But they wouldn't have announced that right now, right?
No, Adams and Mike Brown are running the defense.
Okay, and but is like Jaron Collins leaving, or is that
Collins is still there? But I think somebody was trying to poach Collins.
Okay, because there might be some openings on their bench. Hey, nonetheless. But Ron Adams is the single best defensive coach I've ever been around. I've seen a ton of their practices and watched how he puts it in. So, no, as far as I'm concerned, they don't need a new defensive coach because Ron Adams is the guy. I know like Mike Brown kind of gets whatever credit, but Ron Adams runs their defensive stuff, and it's amazing to me. So I don't think they should change that. I think they're fine there. Kevin Yu, thank you so much for the Canadian super chat. The vets Masai added stabilize the inexperienced core. Yeah, without question. Like Ibaka had been there. Gasol is another one of those guys, and then Danny Green. Masai Ujiri is probably the best GM I think in the NBA.
Yeah, he should be we vote for these awards too early, but if we voted for the award after the season like we should, obviously Masai would win Executive of the Year.
Yeah. But just time and again, he just continually. What did he actually got? Was it before he was with Toronto? Wait, where was he before Toronto?
He was in Denver.
I feel like he got whatever team he was on out of some just horrible situation. Was it Denver?
Well, he made the Melo trade, right?
He got rid of he traded Melo and got those other guys back.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, I'm thinking of something else. Anyway, let's see here. Anything else in the? Oh my God, I got down I did not get down to the bottom of the comment section. Wow, I thought I did. Let's see. Je asks, do you think it's pretty remarkable that Kawhi is on the brink of preventing another dynasty from three-peating? The other one being the Heat in 2014. That's interesting.
That's a great point. Wow, the dynasty killer.
Yeah,
that's great.
Right. It's not the same because obviously Dwayne Wade became a corpse, although he continued to play amazingly enough, and the Warriors don't really feel that way. But I mentioned it earlier, Curry is going to be 32, right?
Yes.
Klay Thompson's going to be 31. something like that. It's probably worth. If only we had a thing to type in and look. Klay Thompson is.
Well, Steph turns 30. He turned 31 in March.
Oh no, Klay is only 28 currently, so he'll be 29. But
No,
Steph.
Clay's 29 now.
Oh, he's 29. Oh,
Yeah,
he
he's
turned
like
29 already.
4 months older than I am.
All right, 29. All right.
Yeah,
You're
should be
29.
I turned 29 in I think a week from yesterday.
Oh, all right. Well,
yeah. So
happy
Thursday.
Birthday.
Thank you.
But yeah, then,
too bad we won't have any basketball left. It looks like.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. So Steph Curry is 30 or 30. Is he 31 now?
He's 31. And
30,
Dre is 29 now.
Okay. And he's been playing since 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's his 10th year. So I mean, that's a lot of playing, and they've been deep into the playoffs half his career. So, which makes up for the other half where he missed games because he was injured. But you know what? Wait a minute. I'm looking at Steph Curry's game played. He had one season where he only played 26, and then he had last year he played 51. Other than that, he's played into the 70s minimum. Wow, I don't think I realized that. I thought like in the beginning of his career he didn't play that many, but anyway, so he's getting worn down, and every year he gets worn down, and little things in here and there. So yeah, they're vulnerable without question. Let's see. You see anything in the chat we can grab?
Well, and KD's also about to leave, so that probably affects it.
Right. And then, but they're going to replace him with somebody. Right.
They're just going to have the tax MLE to replace him. They could try an opt-in trade. Like Celtics fans have been begging the Warriors to do Gordon Hayward in the first rounder for KD.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
It's a very interesting gamble, right? Because it's like if they're stuck in the tax, you continue to pay $1 billion in tax, but you have a player that could be a huge addition for you if he continues to pan out.
You see Gordon Hayward being like a good fit with already having like Klay,
Yeah, I think Hayward's the kind of guy that can fit into any system. I mean, he needs his reps, and that was a big part of why he struggled last year, is he couldn't get his reps. But he should be back towards being a lot better this year. It's just for him, it's about reps, really.
All right, another super chat again, very generous. Thank you so much for Mr. Hershey and the Kisses. Great name there. Kawhi talked about the Powell situation in his ESPN interview. Coach, he said he didn't see him and that he dapped him up 5 times before the game. Oh, okay. I guess I missed the ESPN interview. Must have been before the game. It's kind of hard to imagine he didn't see him, right?
He did see him. He looked at his fist and then pointed.
All right. It's Dapgate, I suppose, or we'll call it. I don't know.
But Kawhi gets a benefit of the doubt where you don't assume he's being a jerk. You just assume he's being some sort of weird robot.
Maybe the breakdown tomorrow will just be about that. Slow-mo, I can do I can zoom in a little bit and stuff. Yeah, read lips. Let's see here. Jao Lopes wants to tell me that Lowry deserves more credit. Amazing effort, especially on defense. Max effort. There's no question, max effort to make up for the fact that he's shorter than I am, and he's not a water bug out there. So he's got to be smart. He's got to be tricky. He's got to be dirty. He's got to be physical. All those different things. And yeah, he really. Because he didn't. Let's see. What was his line tonight?
He only had 10 points.
Yeah, 3 for 12. Did not shoot well.
His passing was so good. Let me go on one of my Jared rants. He had a high pick and roll with Siakam at the 4.5 mark.
Yeah.
And I think Looney was on Siakam and Iggy was on ball. And so Looney does an aggressive drop. So he's like right at the top of the key level, essentially. And Lowry drives right into his outside hip. And Draymond is hiding in the short corner right near him. And it looks like Draymond's going to try to cut the passing lane and sag in there. Steph is also on the weak side corner, and he's going to be the one that has to rotate under the rim and take the contact on the roll. And Lowry just has such a feel for the timing of how Golden State was selling out up high and trying to rotate under, that he goes and makes contact with Looney so that he can throw a left-handed wraparound pass just under Looney's butt, and it's like a really tight angle where he can't even really see where he's passing it to, but throws a really tight angle, blind left-handed pass, hits Siakam, and Siakam is able to catch the ball in the middle of the paint, wide open, and get to the rim and finish. And I think he's the only guy on either team that could have made that play at that point. with his left hand. I mean, he got it. Lowry has just been in such a rhythm for pick and roll playmaking against his defense. He's been able to figure out where the openings are coming and really pick them apart. And
Yeah.
it's been some of the best playmaking that he's done in his entire career. It's been pretty amazing to watch.
All right, end of rant. Ian Cameron, do you think Boogie's first quarter turnovers was the reason for his little game time? Without question. But also there were some bad misses in there too, I want to say, that he just didn't look good at all. And I was forced to tweet that he couldn't jump over a newspaper. Or no, I think I said telephone book. And then people don't even know what a telephone book is anymore. But you get the picture.
My dad used to say piece of paper. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So so that was for sure. He just wasn't going. Now, should they have given him another little run there at some point? Like maybe, but
maybe. But Looney played really well. So they made the right call.
Yeah, I mean, those 2 free throws they probably would have liked from Looney back for him to make it at the end. But let's see here. If Mahdi says, if Raptors win, does Donald invite them to the White House? Or we talked about that one before you got here. I think they go to Justin Trudeau's house, right? What's it called in Canada?
I have no idea. Parliament House? Is that?
I don't know. Any Canadians out there can tell me what your version of the White House is? God,
that is so weird that I don't know that.
Horrible neighbors. Sorry, ugly Americans.
That's a great
at least
question,
we know that. At least I know Justin Trudeau is the Prime Minister of Canada. Prime Minister, that's his title, right? Apparently, the Parliament, Rideau Hall. Someone tell me how to pronounce it. Canadian Parliament. So yes, you were right, Jared. Very, very good. And Trudeau is the Prime Minister, right? Thank you. I hope. Apparently, Canadians don't like Trudeau. I ran into some Canadians, and apparently he's not as popular as he seems to be here. So I don't know.
Well, that's just because he's caught in the political disagreements there. But I think he's considered to be. I think he enjoys comparable support to what Obama did when he was in the peak of his presidency. I mean, obviously there was a huge part of the country that hated Obama, mostly because they're racist, but also because they disagree with him politically. And Trudeau is the same thing. And Trudeau's had a few issues there. I could spend half an hour talking about Canadian politics, but
wow.
I think I'll cut it off right there.
All right, I think you're revealing your true colors there. I guess so. The Stanley Cup champs don't go to Parliament, so the Raptors won't either.
I can tell you for precedent that when the Blue Jays won in '92, President Bush did invite them to the White House.
Okay.
So I assume that Trump is going to invite the Raptors for whether they serve Tim Hortons there. I have no idea.
Right. So wow. So he got that in just before he left before they lost the election. Okay, interesting. In '92. Okay. How crazy is it to think the Sixers will end up being the Raptors' biggest challengers in the playoffs? Will they be?
I mean, because it went all the way to the brink, right? So,
yeah, but the Bucks will still be there.
How different is Steph Curry's legacy if Kawhi Leonard's shot rims out? It's basketball's the best.
Which shot? Wait, which Kawhi Leonard shot?
The series winner that he hit over.
Oh, geez. Yeah, you mean the one against them? Yeah, okay.
That shot really goes down as like one of the best shots ever. When you consider that it looks like they're probably going to win the title because of that shot.
And is it confirmed? Do you believe those reports that Kawhi has bought a nice new house in Toronto?
Probably doesn't mean he's not going to the Clippers.
I know, but why are you buying real estate?
You know what? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They win the title. He could leave. They still won the title. That's all they ever wanted, right?
Yeah. Well, I ran into a Clippers fan on the street. I mentioned this in the last thing a couple days ago, and he was convinced that I thought if he wins the title, he's got to stay. But he was like, no, that's actually more reason for him to leave. He did what he came there to do, and he can get out of there. So that kind of blew my mind a little bit. And that's actually somewhat of a compelling argument. So we'll find out. But I don't know. What else do we have? Anything else in the let me head over to the Periscope and see if we have anything there exciting. You know what? Let me check this thing here first. Okay. Let's see here. That's why Kawhi was pointing, let's do it over there where they usually team huddle. Okay, so Steve Lou wants to say that Kawhi was not ignoring him. He was like, no, we're going to dap over there instead. And then we didn't see the rest of that clip,
that's possible. It's fine. Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's like, whatever, just let it go.
Right. Now, mind stuff, it does pose an interesting thing. What if KD does come back and they win the final 3 games? KD should get the MVP.
Yeah, of course. I think at that point you start putting KD into the GOAT conversation if that happens.
Wow.
Depending on what he does. Yeah, I mean that would be LeBron-esque. So
Yeah,
I
right.
mean he's not there, but you're putting him into the top 10 players of
Right.
all time at that point
Right.
with his resume.
Yeah, for sure. Ryu 600RR asks, is Nick Nurse the first rookie head coach to win a championship in his first year? Dude,
Oh my
have we
God!
really
Come on.
forgotten that Steve
Wait,
Kerr?
maybe they just started watching the NBA this year, and they're just a
Okay,
bandwagon fan.
right. So Steve Kerr did it, and guess what? So did Tyronn Lue. Right? That was
Everybody,
just, yeah,
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 everyone these days says it.
yeah. So I mean, before that, I don't think there
It's
was anybody, but
that question is so funny considering the
yeah,
context of it.
yeah, right. So
And
there's your answer.
sorry for jumping on whatever that person's name was, but like,
Yes,
come on,
Ryu.
you should know that one if you're an NBA fan.
Yeah. Jared Weiss, are you Canadian? All
Yeah.
caps. Eh?
I've actually lived in Boston my entire life, but Toronto is one of my favorite cities in the world, and that was true before it was cool. It's because I went to visit my cousins there when I was like 12 years old, and I was like, wow, this is like Boston, but it doesn't suck. It's amazing.
Wow. You know you can't marry your cousins, right, though?
Well, if I lived in Kentucky, I guess I could.
Right.
Um,
Oh, okay.
Actually,
You can do
everyone in that
whatever you want,
family
Jared.
has been married or engaged within the last like year or so, basically. So,
Okay.
so I'm very happy for my cousins. Shout out to the Frymans.
Right.
Yeah,
All right.
Toronto's amazing. I would love to live there.
Yeah.
It's absolutely one of the best cities in North America. Like probably
Right.
top 5.
Okay. If your name is Nicola, I gotta take the question. Nicola Nasev says, why doesn't Golden State run more high pick and roll with Curry and Dre like they did against the Rockets? Well, yeah. Why?
Yes, our show is almost dedicated to complaining about the Warriors not running high pick and roll, and the Sixers also.
Yeah, at least try it. Like you can't at least show us it doesn't work. Now because here's the thing: you're bringing up Kawhi Leonard up toward the ball because he's guarding Draymond, and that might be why they're a little bit nervous about doing that because he's such a crazy claw.
But Steph is the kind of guy that he's really good at, doing like the kind of the shielding reset dribble, stepping back. That he's really good at threading passes through traps, and then he's the kind of guy that if the trap retreats off of him, if he steps back, he'll just pull up from 30 feet. So I've always felt that Steph wants to lure the trap out, and I feel like guys, it seems like one of the weird things that we don't see enough is that in this era where point guards, because they can shoot so deep, that if they're drawing traps out over the screen level, that they should be inviting that and using that for them to hit the roll man more easily, more and more and more. I feel like these guys are better and better and better at that, and the teams are going to have to be more aggressive with it because of the way that they shoot the ball. So, I feel like in the playoffs we just haven't been seeing it as much, and maybe that's just because defenses are just way better in the playoffs.
Yeah,
it's just so much harder to do it.
Okay. We have a couple of interesting things as we kind of maybe wrap up this one. Jose Reyes said he heard a theory that Durant's injury is actually an Achilles injury and he's out indefinitely for the series, but they're playing it off as a calf strain to keep his value up. Thoughts? I don't think you can lie about that at this point, right? I think that there's like the ramifications of that seem to be too brutal to contemplate, right?
They could lie about it. He could have like a severe Achilles sprain or even a partial tear. He could have a partially torn calf. I mean, don't forget, it's a calf strain is the official.
Right. With an MRI, it said it wasn't a tear. So right.
Yeah, but like a strain is a degree of tearing. So it's like maybe the degree of strain is a level 3, which is really like a tear is what we would call it. So maybe that's what it is. But I don't think they don't care about his. They don't want his value high because they want he's a free agent. So it's like they're not going to trade him. Even if they were going to trade him, his injury status would have almost no impact.
Right. And besides, I mean, if it was a real Achilles injury, he'd have a boot. We've seen him walking around. He would be walking around like that.
He would be completely isolated. He would be on a scooter.
Right. Yeah. So I just don't think it is. But I do think that's not. I think it's more serious than they had said because he's been out this long.
Yeah.
So.
He probably can't play, and maybe he will. And he probably has an injury that would have him out for several months, and they're trying to get him to come back within a month, which is just not really feasible. And don't forget, it's that maybe he has like a grade 2 calf strain, and if he plays on it and he hurts it, it would turn into a full tear or risk an Achilles rupture that could derail his career. So that's why this is happening.
Sure.
I have no problem. I never have any problem with that. Never.
There's another one that I saw that was good, and I can't find it. But what are the Warriors' chances? Do they have a chance to win this? Is it over?
Give them 20%. It's the Warriors.
Yeah, that sounds
I
about
would
right.
get if the boot was on the other foot, whatever. If this was with Toronto's situation, I would give them like 3%, 5%.
Yeah.
I'll give the Warriors 20% because Steph and Clay can combine for 70 points for the next few games and pull this off. They could try playing defense. Like, they could just play a more conservative defense. I still don't get it, man. I just don't understand what's going on with the half court defense. I mean, hopefully Steve Kerr is being super transparent right now and is explaining why they're running this defensive scheme against Toronto's pick and roll. But I just don't get it. And it's like, I mean, we're armchair coaching this from home, but like you and I have seen these high pick and roll offenses that are really similar to what we're seeing now for like 3 years in a row against small ball defenses in the playoffs. And like, this isn't that different. I think the only major difference is that Toronto is just really focused on trying to get the ball through the middle onto the roll man, while most offenses have been trying to make this a pick and pop or kick it or do like a skip pass to the weak side elbow shooter. While Toronto is just really emphasizing hitting the roll man. But like this, we've been saying the same thing for 3 games in a row now. Like it's been the same offensive scheme for 3 games in a row. They're changing where the personnel is placed to try to make it harder for Draymond to be the one catching the roll. But like otherwise, this is mostly just Golden State making their bed and laying in it, and Toronto knows how to get around it.
For sure.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I know it's obviously not as obvious as it seems, but it really seems obvious.
Right.
It seems like they should just be in a deeper drop scheme and just try to make Toronto beat them with deeper shooting.
Fair enough. Well, so I'm going to do a whole video on their defense. I'm going to do a whole video on the Raptors offense because we'll have 2 days in advance. If you didn't see, most people seem to have flocked to the part 1 of my referee breakdown today. That went pretty viral. There's a part 2. Go watch that one. It's probably better. It's got more crucial plays.
I'll go watch it.
Yeah, and for some reason that one's getting lost in the shuffle. So make sure you see that one too. And I will come out probably the first thing in the morning with a new one. And can't wait to get that. Jared, do you have anything you want to plug while we're here before we leave?
Oh, I'm gonna have a piece coming on the Tokyo NBA Finals watch party. The experience of that. That'll be an interesting one, I guess. In case you missed it, I had the shooting story about drifting eyes and all that, which. The focus of the story was on the Seth versus Steph, nature versus nurture. A lot of interesting stuff there. I had an interview with Kemba Walker in Tokyo last week where he talked about his future. That was a pretty major news story, so please give that a read. I have to humble brag about something. I came in 3rd place, so I don't know if that counts as winning. I got the bronze medal, I guess, in the Pro Basketball Writers writing awards for best long form feature. So I did an oral history on Gordon Hayward right before the season started. It was an oral history of the night that he broke his ankle, and so we released it right before opening night. This season is the 1 year anniversary, and I talked to almost literally everybody that was involved, from from Al Horford, who was right there. It was the first person to see what happened, to his wife, who was at home and got the call, to the doctor that helped stabilize him as he was coming off the floor. I mean, everything.
Wow.
And there are a lot of people that talked about some really painful moments, and I was really grateful to that. So it won the 3rd place for best feature written in the NBA this year, and I'm still waiting for someone to tell me they made a mistake, but it was a dream come true. So I have to brag about it somewhere. So
awesome. Well, mazel, good things on that one, and that's great news. And we'll be back again, I guess, after Game 5, right?
I can't believe it. It could be the last show of the year.
Oh my God, you're right. Don't say that. Anyway, well, listen, you might not have to do too much writing after this, but I'm so busy after that, so don't think I'm going to be going anywhere. I got draft, I got free agency, summer league. I'll be busy, and then we'll be doing some shows in between, I'm sure, to catch everybody up. So, and thank you, Gigolo Pup, for putting the link to the part 2 of the video from today. It really is a good one. Ronnie and I go through a lot of calls. I mean, it was. I could have done a part 3 with so many different calls. It was so bad. At least tonight we don't have to talk about the refereeing that much. It was Not great, but it was better. So,
Yeah.
anyhow.
And Nick, shout out to you for carrying the show as my computer decided not to work. So sorry about that. Sorry to the viewers for that. We got it eventually.
Yes, it was my D-Day. So anyway, Gigolo Pup's anxious to hear your awkward ending of the show. So let's do it. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Great show tonight. We'll catch you in the next one. And don't forget, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Jared?
I'm in clinching mode. Super.